Hey there, Distro Dude here with another Linux distro review. Today we'll be taking a look at Linux Mint 7 codenamed Gloria. Linux Mint 7 was released on May 25th, 2009 and used the GNOME 2 desktop environment by default, as you can see here. And one thing I really love, if I open up the Linux terminal here, is just look at that beautiful window skin. I love these little borderless buttons here, and just overall the colour scheme, the green and the black, it just looks so good. And of course all the terminal commands work. The only thing I'm a little bit sad about is the fact that Microsoft just didn't keep this skin in the final version of Windows XP. All the programs just look so good with it. I love this skin. I just love the way the Windows Whistler watercolour theme fades off from this light blue and then it has this little grid pattern to the dark blue, and it just looks good on every single window in this build of Windows Whistler. Now if I just open the Windows Whistler start menu, you'll see in the file skimmer I've got a copy of the final skin that came with Windows XP, which is called Luna. Now, just looking at this, compare it with Windows Whistler. It looks so awful. Look how cartoony and dodgy it is. The Windows Whistler watercolour theme had this cool, nice appearance, and this is just like cartoony and awful. Look at this. I'm just so sick of the way Windows XP abandoned that watercolour theme. I just thought it was so good in Windows Whistler, and then they just get rid of it. And I'm just so upset that this Luna theme made it into the final version of XP, so I think I'm just, you know what? I'm applying the Windows Classic theme, because I'm just so angry. In fact, you know what? I hate the Classic theme too. I'm going to switch to Linux. But as you can see in general, the whole dark and brown theme, I know it's earthly and human, but I've never really liked this dark theme in Ubuntu, so I think I might go on a website and find some GNOME 2 themes to replace this theme, because yeah, I can't stand this brown look all over the operating system. So to sum up my final thoughts, I give Ubuntu a 10 out of 10. And I'm giving it this perfect rating because I think it's very easy to use for beginners and it will bring a lot of new people to Linux. Anyway, see you guys next time in another distro review. Did I trick you guys? So this is actually ShiftOS. All along you've been looking at ShiftOS. I just thought with the whole new skinning feature in ShiftOS, because as you can see you can skin the backgrounds, you can skin everything. I'll do a little parody at the beginning of the video, but for now let's go straight into the new features in ShiftOS 0.0.7. First of all, you've got a reset button to reset everything back to its default state in the shifter. So that's just a global reset. If you've done a bunch of customizations and you think, hey, you know what, I've had enough now, I want to have a clean slate, that's what you press. So this is pretty much what you were left with at the end of 0.0.6. You could obviously change stuff, like change the borders of the windows and stuff, but you were left with this very grey, boring appearance if you don't change the colours and stuff in 0.0.6, and only two buttons up here, which is the roll up and down button and the close button. So let's open up the Shiftorium now and look at the new things you can get from the Shiftorium. So the first feature I'm going to show you is, and ignore the amount of code points I have, is a feature called panel buttons. So if I buy panel buttons here, and let me just open a few programs so you can see how this works. Okay, so if I buy panel buttons, instantly, have a little look up here, you can see that the Shiftorium, clock and terminal are now appearing in here, showing that I've actually got all these windows open, and if I open any more windows, such as the text pad appears up there. So that's what panel buttons are. They don't do anything. You can click on them and stuff, and they won't do anything yet. Now, you've also got shift panel buttons, so if I buy that, I can now go over to the shifter, go over to the desktop panel buttons, and there's a bunch of settings here to change every aspect of the panel buttons you can think of. So for example, if you wanted the gap between the buttons to be a bit different, a bit wider, I could say 3, apply changes, and there we go, the gap in between each button is now 3 pixels. You've also got the minimize command here, so I'll buy that and I'll show you what that can do. So if I say minimize clock, the clock is now minimized, although you can't yet use these buttons to unminimize it. So if I now type minimize clock again, it now reappears exactly in the same spot where it was and left in the same state it was. So let's say you are halfway through a game of Pong, you could type minimize Pong, Pong would be minimized, then you can type minimize Pong again to unminimize it, and then Pong is left at level 5 or wherever you're up to with Pong. But you're definitely going to want a minimize button, so you don't have to open the terminal all the time. And the moment I bought the minimize button, you can see that the minimize button has appeared just here on each of the windows, and you can now minimize like that. And if you have something called useful panel buttons, you can actually use these buttons to unminimize programs. So you can minimize and then click them to unminimize, and you can also click them here to minimize and unminimize them like that. One of the main features though in ShiftOS 0.0.7 is the Artpad program. If I buy that, you'll notice that overall it's very useless until you buy a bunch of upgrades for it. I forgot, you've got to buy the AL Artpad, like the app launcher thing for it, or you can just open it in the terminal, but I want to buy it and its icon. And let me just buy 4 color palettes for it. And I'll also just buy a pixel limit of 4, just so I can show you guys how this works. The Artpad basically allows you to make pictures. It's kind of like Paint in Windows. So what you do is you type in a size. Let's say you wanted to make something that was 1080p. So I'll do 1980 by 1080. And as you can see, instantly pixels have gone red. Create, it won't let me do that because I'm breaking the pixel limit, which is 4, as you can see. So you literally have to make a picture that is 2 by 2 or 2 by 1 or something like that. So you can't actually make a massive 1080p picture until you increase the pixel limit. So that prevents... So let me just go over how the Artpad works. So let's say I wanted to create something 2 pixels width by 1 high. So I click create, and now you can see my tiny little canvas in the middle there. I'm going to zoom in on that with the Magnify Tool, and I'm going to use the pixel setter to set some pixels. So I want 0, 0, and 0, 0 is this pixel here, to be black. So I've clicked on black, set pixel, and it is now black. And I would like to change this color canvas here to, let's say, a light grey color, like that. Now if I change the X coordinate to 1, which means it's this pixel, set pixel, and as you can see it set that pixel to that light grey color. And you can actually fill this up with anything you've got in your color picker. You can set these colors up to however you like. So there you go, there's your color palettes. And if you buy more color palettes, you've got more color to play with in each picture. So let's save that now, and oh, I can't save it until, let's buy a few features. What do I need? I know I need a pixel placer and save, there we go. So I'll be able to save my picture now. So I just click save, and I'm gonna go home, pictures, skins, and video is where I'll save it, just for this video, and I'll call it title bar. Now you can call the picture anything you want, but I'm just calling it for a specific purpose, title bar. I was using the pixel setter, I didn't earn any code points there, but if you use any tool apart from the pixel setter, something like the pixel placer, which is even better, look what you can do with this, you can just click pixels and place them like that, much better. So if you use any tool that isn't the pixel setter, you can start earning some code points using Artpad. So definitely buy the pixel placer as soon as possible because it's a really good tool. So let me show you what I can do with that image now that I've made, that 2 pixel image. Oh, and as you saw just then, you may have noticed that when I did a picture and I didn't save it, the changes to it, Artpad, TextPad, any program like that, and it says it appears your text document currently contains unsaved changes. Are you sure you want to close TextPad without saving the changes? I'll just click yes. It prevents you from losing work, kind of like what happens in Notepad and Microsoft Word and stuff like that. Anyway, let me show you what you can do with that graphic now. If I right click, nothing will happen because I need to buy a feature called skinning, and skinning unlocks the graphic picker. So if I right click now, you'll see this special graphic picker here, and I can click browse and grab that title bar picture I just made, which is just 2 pixels. Now if I center it, you can see it's just the black and light grey there. If I tile it, you can see, wow, it looks crazy across the thing. And zoom just looks like that, but stretch stretches from the black pixel to the grey pixel. And if I click apply, look at that. I can literally make windows look pretty cool. So if I apply that, all my windows have that cool gradient look to them. And you can set whatever colours you like and do pretty much whatever you like with that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to buy a few more colour palettes. I'm going to buy some more features, Artpad load and save. Let me just open up the Artpad so you can see what's going on here. Artpad undo, so that's an undo feature if you do something wrong and you can redo it. Here with the redo feature, I can also increase the pixel limit. And now the idea is throughout the game you'll be able to make better and better skins because you'll get more colours and a better pixel limit and stuff like that. Now there's something here called Artpad Pixel Placer Movement Mode, and I'll show you what this does. So let's say I had something 20 by 20, which is too high right now until I increase the pixel limit a bit. There we go. Oh, and by the way, those are all different colours because prior to this video I was changing the colours around. So let's say I wanted to draw a little picture here, get some brown, activate movement mode, and look at this. You can actually draw as if it's like almost like a little pencil tool, but it's a pixel placer, so it places pixels and you can move it around rather than just clicking like that. You can actually place them with the mouse by drawing. So you can draw a sun up the top and little beams coming down. So overall the pixel placer is a really good tool, and the best thing about it, there's a little cactus on the ground. I should have done yellow sand, but whatever. The best thing about it is that when you save your pictures here, put another few little spots here in the ground. Now something really good about the Artpad is that you can earn code points for doing drawings as long as you're not using the pixel setter, as long as you're using any other tool but the pixel setter. So here I could just say cactus. I don't think that's how you spell cactus. Let me just say desert. There we go. Desert, save, and it said Artpad, you earned 5 code points. So just for doing that, I earned 5 code points for drawing a little picture. So imagine making a skin. If you made a big skin with all those different files and stuff, you could make something pretty cool. You could make a really good picture. So imagine if you made a whole skin, you could earn a lot of code points doing that. Anyway, I'll add a few more tools here. So let's get the eraser, the fill tool, the line tool, the oval tool, the paintbrush tool. I'll go through all of these with you. Rectangle tool, and the Artpad is designed to be the most evolving program in the whole game, so it evolves more than any other program. And just because you buy all the ShiftOS Artpad upgrades, it doesn't mean you have all the upgrades in the whole game. Look at those colours, it's going crazy down there. Okay, so let me show you what you can do here. So I'll just click new here and we'll do another little graphic here. I want to design a panel button, so let's have a little go at that. Desktop. I'm just going to see what the size of them are. So they're 22 pixels high and 186 pixels wide. Okay, let's design one. So height 22 and width would be 186. You can also change this and change the width of this. It's all up to you. Totally up to you. So I'm going to zoom in on this. Oops, not that far. And I'm going to use the rectangle tool and I'm going to try and make a panel button here. So I think I want the interior. The inside colour can be, let's go for a boring brown colour. There we go. I'll make the border width 4 black for the border. Actually, I might make that 2. Here we go. So I've got the border width set at 2 and I'm going to try and draw now. Oops, undo. I didn't get that quite lined up well. Resizing Windows is a 0.0.8 feature, but just to make it easier here, I'm just going to resize this. Okay, there we go. So I'll stretch that out. That's going to be my panel button. So let's save that now, and I'll call it panel button. Now I can right click. As you can see, resizing is not working at all. The window resized back to its original state as soon as I did that, but you have got scroll bars here, so you can move the graphics around, which is pretty good. Okay, so for the panel button, I'll choose this graphic, and I can tile it because it's the right size, apply, and I'll just click apply, and occasionally you get little bugs like this. Just open and close the programs and that fixes them. There we go. So as you can see, I have now designed some panel buttons, but they are very poorly designed and you guys can probably do a much better job yourself. So overall, once you've made your skin, let's say this was a completed skin, which it isn't, but let's say it was, you go over to the skin loader and you can click Save Skin. And I'm going to save this skin as example, save. And as you can see, that will now appear in the file skimmer, example.skn. And if you double click that file, let me just show you, it'll load it up in the skin loader, just like any other files you may have. You can also download some skins I've made. These are some ones I've made from the ShiftOS forums at shiftos.net, or it might be forum.shiftos.net, depending on where I go with that. But for example, here's that Linux Mint skin you saw at the beginning of the video. Double clicked it there and I click apply. I could also load skin and find it like that. Anyway, the last feature here in the ShiftOS is Unity mode. So if I buy that, it allows me to open up the terminal and type in Unity mode on, and that'll actually make you be able to see what your desktop looks like. And Unity mode basically allows you to run Windows programs and ShiftOS programs side by side. So as you can see, this Windows program is overlapping the ShiftOS programs. Now this ShiftOS program is overlapping that, and oh, look, there you go, there's a little feature where you can shake and stuff to minimize and unminimize stuff. But yeah, there we go, you've got the Windows and ShiftOS programs working together in Unity. So let's turn Unity mode off, and that's good if you're designing a skin, let's say in Fireworks or something like that. And if you want to know how to rip skins and stuff like that, there's a little tutorial video I made a while ago with, I think, one of the alpha videos. It should be mostly the same. There might be a little difference here or there, but overall, the way you rip skins back then is the same way you rip skins now, although you don't need all the little picture files and graphic files. The .skn file contains all the images now, so it's a single skin file. Anyway, for ShiftOS 0.0.8, look forward to a bunch of new content, new programs and stuff. 0.0.7 had a strong focus on skinning, and as you can see, it makes the operating system look so much better than it did in 0.0.6. Because all the programs, as you can see, it's just so good to see all the skins with programs now. Like before, you didn't have any skins, and it just made the operating system look dodgy. But now you can make it look like Linux Mint, Windows XP, pretty much whatever operating system you want to a degree. There's some limitations, like you can't have these close buttons and stuff on this side if you're trying to do a Mac skin, but you could still make it look like Mac. You'll just have to have the close buttons and stuff on the wrong side. But overall, it's a really good skinning system, still a little bit buggy here and there, even though it's a full version of 0.0.7. The good thing is that you can just open and close a program if you get those red X's and they'll go away. The main issue is that the skin loader and the shifter, they sometimes collide a little bit with each other, but luckily it's not really a serious bug. Okay, before I end this off, let's just have a little look at all the tools in Artpad, because I didn't really go through them all properly. Let's do a big picture. What about 666 by 444? Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so let's start off. You know what the pixel setter is and the pixel placer. By the way, the pixel placer does not work well at this level of magnification. So you can't actually use pixel placer at 1x. What you've got to do is you've actually got to use a pencil tool instead. Now the pencil tool, I'll just have it on thin here, you can draw really smoothly like that. It's even more smooth if you're not recording, but that's the way it draws. So just kind of like what you would think of as the pencil tool in pretty much any other program. So yeah, that's really smooth. You can move it really fast too, and it still is pretty smooth. So that's the pencil tool. Let's undo that. I'll just do a little squiggle up there. You've got a thicker pencil, and of course you can change the colour and have it any colour you like. And you've got the thickest one here like this. You've also got the fill tool. So let's say you drew something like the famous tree that people always seem to draw in ShiftOS Artpad videos. You've got this tool. So what you can do is you can go, okay, I want the tree to be brown here, and I want the top to be green. Click. So that's a really fast tool for just quickly filling up something really quickly, and that looks pretty good. You know what, I might even one day draw something, and just the thing about it is you can play around with Artpad and just have fun drawing. Like let's say you wanted to draw a picture using that black thick pen, do all the outlines and just fill it all in with the fill tool. You could do that and earn, 15 code points just for doing that, so it's pretty fun. You've also got the oval and the square tool. I'll show you how this works. So what you first do, you choose, okay, what do I want the border width to be? Something like 5, for example. Then you want to choose the fill colour. So what you do is you choose, okay, what colour do I want it to be inside? Let's say I wanted it to be this, let's say this lightish green colour, and I click fill colour here, and that makes it light green, but you've got to turn fill on so it's activated. And then I want the edges to be black, so the border of the oval tool to be black. Now when I draw, I can draw backwards, top, front, pretty much any way you want, forwards, backwards, anything. You can draw some circles. Okay, so that's that tool. You've also got this square tool, and you can pretty much do it the same way. So let's say you had a 4, and you filled that in with, I don't know, let's do that dark green now. And black border, you can do the same kind of thing. So you draw kind of like that. You probably draw some kind of cool logo like this. But yeah, that's the way this works. So that's that. You've also got the line tool, so you can choose any colour like usual with the line tool, switch between them like that, and I might do light blue, and you can just draw little lines like that. You can even draw a shape if you want to draw a triangle or something. Just take your finger off quickly and then put it back on. There's a little triangle. You've also got the Paintbrush tool. I'm not too impressed with this tool, to be honest. So let's choose something here. Now this worked, trust me, in the past, this Paintbrush Tool actually did show a paintbrush preview here. I'm not sure why it's not working now, but it did work in the past. So what you do, I've chosen this circle shape, and you can now draw with, like, you know, a thick brush. You could even make it pretty big like that if you want. Now the issue is, if you draw too fast with it, you get those kind of little dots there. Let me just save that. See, just doing that picture earned me 16 code points. Okay, there we go. Why is it... It's working now. Oh, but it's going crazy and moving around and stuff. The Paintbrush Tool should work, but it's a little buggy in 0.0.7. I'm not too worried now about bugs in this version of ShiftOS. It's mainly versions such as 0.1.0, those major ones, which these versions are like, even though I'm calling this a full release, it still is kind of a beta build. It's not going to be entirely bug-free, although I'm just annoyed that it was bug-free before and now suddenly it's starting to get buggy again. But let's look onto some of the other tools. So here you can type something in. You can say something like picture, choose a font such as, let's say, Destine, and you can click and the word appears. I'll make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see. There we go, picture. You can make it even more bigger. Picture, there we go. You can type in different words, put like your little signature at the bottom or whatever you want, and red and blue looks awful together. But yeah, that's that tool. This one is just an eraser, so that'll rub everything out. You've also got this for making a new painting. You've got the Magnify Tool, which I've showed you. You can load and save pictures, undo and redo. So I can go undo, 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 and redo, redo, redo. Okay, the last feature I'll show you, obviously, you know, you can right-click these palettes, such as if I right-click that and choose this yellowy colour, I've just made that palette a yellowy colour, and then I can use that colour when I draw, like this. Anyway, if you middle-click any of the palettes, you can choose the width, height, side space and top space and all of that. So let's say you wanted the width to be 20, height to be 12, and the space between them all to be 2. And I click set size, and that's just changed all my palettes. I might make the height 13 just to line that up a bit better. There we go, there's all my palettes with a size of 13. Anyway, that'll be it for this video. Look forward to ShiftOS 0.0.8, which should add a bunch of new programs. So 0.0.7 had a focus on skinning. 0.0.8 has a focus on programs. You're going to have a calculator, music player, or web browser, a bunch of things. There's going to be an in-game web browser where you can get these programs from. There's even going to be viruses if you pirate the programs. It's just going to be amazing. So 0.0.8 is definitely something to look forward to. I'll see you next time. This is DevX signing off. Goodbye.